Hey, what's up, everyone? Hey, Bobby.
Hello, Ryan. How are you doing today?
Good, thanks to you, man. Good.
Good.
Cool. So, welcome everybody to the We Are the Solution, a non 12-step approach to recovery or self discovery, as Bobby and I like to call it. Bobby, if you give me 1 minute, I just want to share it to your platform quickly.
Sure. Go ahead.
Share it to a group. Yeah, share it to a group. Okay. Got it. Post. Cool. So shared. So just give it permission on your end, Bobby.
All right, everyone. Welcome, everyone, back to our live My Rehab Cafe. I'm going to prove this to Anonymous Addiction at My Truth About AA, as Bobby C sees it on Facebook. It's a private group, so make sure you come join us. I'm going to prove that right now. And here we are live on Anonymous Addiction platform.
Cool. Hey, Megan.
Hi, Bobby.
Hello, Megan. How are you doing today?
Well, thank you, and you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing the best I can recovering from this COVID-19 thing. So it's been about 12 days, and Jane and I contracted it about 10 days ago. So we're on the back end of it. We're good. We're good to go.
Oh, that's so good to hear, Bobby. Thanks for having me on the group as well.
Of course.
So, guys, I just want to do run through some quick introductions. I won't take up a lot of time. I just want to let everybody know that we're broadcasting on the public channels, and the public channels are the My Rehab Helper Facebook profile, the ARC or the My Rehab Facebook page, the Duly Diagnosed YouTube channel, and those are the public channels. So they're open to the public. We're going to broadcast to those channels for the first 10 to 20 minutes, depending. And we're also broadcasting to the private and searchable Facebook group called My Rehab Cafe, and I'll play a little video that's going to give you some more information on what that is. But anybody on the My Rehab Cafe that wants to participate, please, if you want a higher degree of anonymity or confidentiality, wait until we switch over to the private group strictly after the 10 to 20 minutes, and then you can hop on. If you're on the public channel or on the My Rehab Cafe channel, and you don't mind sort of being on the public platforms, then you're welcome to hop on via the link that I've shared in the comments of the various channels. You can hop on and participate via video and audio, or audio only, or you can post a comment and it should come up on my screen and I should be able to share it. So if you've got a question for myself, Bobby, or Megan, we can post that comment and you guys can take a look. We'll have a conversation about it. So that's my little speech. So over to you, Bobby.
You know what? Let's do something maybe different. So the audience on Anonymous Addiction, this is live, so it's streaming live. How about if Ryan, tell us a little bit about, like, what is the difference between My Rehab Cafe, even ARC, Addiction Recovery Center over there in South Africa? What makes the difference? I know, but I want to hear it from you. Maybe just tell the audience, then we can ask Megan what kind of she sees the differences and the new trend, and where this thing is going. You know.
Okay, guys. So ARC is as it was formerly known, it's now known as My Rehab, group of dual diagnosis addiction centers. So those centers are basically inpatient treatment centers. So for anybody with a substance use disorder or an addiction problem, right? Generally speaking, we run a 21 day program. We can do up to a 12-week program of inpatient treatment. And we've got a range of healthcare professionals that engage with the patients while they're at the center. So we've got clinical psychologists, counseling psychologists, social workers, so we run groups, workshops, lectures. We ask the patients to do a lot of introspection as well, and we engage with families, the families of the the patients that are in our center as well, to try and give them guidance and give them a way forward from treatment. Then the Mariab Cafe is basically the aftercare arm of all of that. So once you leave treatment, it's important that you stay engaged with some version of a support community. Connection is the opposite of addiction, right? So we've set up the Mariab Cafe to sort of represent that, and patients that have been through the inpatient center go into they sort of join the Mariab Cafe group. There's no charge for them, and they have access to workshops, the full duration of workshops, live videos like this. There's worksheets. There's a lot of interaction that goes on between the people on the group. If somebody's got an issue, or they've got a challenge, or they're struggling with something, they can post that on the group, and we'll all engage with each other and work towards just well-being in general, and sort of help people stay engaged on a have I lost you guys? Did my signal break up there?
You're
Yeah, a
back
little bit.
on. A little bit, but you're
Am I back? Okay.
So what I'm understanding is this, we're public right now. So are you inviting the public to be able to join My Rehab Cafe?
Absolutely,
They don't have
yeah.
so they don't have to be, let's just make it clear to the audience. You don't have to be in a rehab. You don't have to have went to South Africa's ARC rehab. You can just be coming, you didn't even have to go to treatment. You could be coming out of a detox and jump on my Rehab Cafe and get all the information, all the different types of treatments and different types of modalities that are out there. And that's what I really enjoy. That's why I'm here, because I think what differentiates you from other rehabs is just pumping out the same ideology, 12-step model, without giving other people choices. And that's why I'm here.
So Bobby, so on that note, and there's some exciting stuff happening on the Mariab Cafe group. So we've got different individuals that host different workshops, different lectures, and we're building a community of professionals and paraprofessionals that have the ability to provide good quality content to the people on that group, and you're one of those individuals. So Bobby's got his own channel, so to speak. I've got my own channel. I do the secular recovery thing. Bobby does a lot of the deprogramming stuff. Then we got Megan. Megan does a lot of she's an addiction counselor, so she does some of the addiction planner workshops. She's also got a Christian perspective on the 12 steps that she runs on a Friday. And then we've got Theo, who's doing he's really doing like an interesting sort of take on recovery and the journey that a person embarks on when they come into recovery or embark on the journey of self-discovery. So, and then we've got a number of other people as well that are we're looking to incorporate in the whole thing. And we're looking at them currently. We are looking for somebody that's got some experience with 12-step philosophy, that we want to sort of set their own channel up on the platform and let them sort of engage with patients or any of the members on the Mariab Cafe. So, and that's the cool thing, Bobby. So I mean, you and I do some of the deprogramming stuff from the 12 steps, and then like on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, we'll have an AA meeting. So it sounds like it's like contradictory approaches, but the whole thing is designed to have something for everybody. Okay. So ARC isn't necessarily a Christian organization. It's not a secular organization. It's a medically orientated inpatient center. But this aftercare Mariab Cafe thing is basically it's again designed to cater for everybody's needs. So if you're a Christian, if you're an atheist, if you want to deprogramming from 12 steps, if you want to participate in 12-step stuff, it's all on the channel.
Right. Beautiful. Yes. And when I talk about we are the solution, I understand that. Look, the reason why I come on here is because I like where the channel's going. It talks about alcohol and drug addiction. We talk about process addiction. Okay, gambling, sex, technology, whatever, process addictions. We're talking about mental health. Okay, the whole thing is about mental health, really. And we're talking about mental illness also. Okay, so when I talk about we are the solution, that's that's assuming that we are capable of changing our thinking and our thoughts. Some people, because of some type of mental illness, are not capable of doing that at this particular moment. And I understand that totally. So I'm not trying to make people think that magically thinking is going to change some things. Okay, so I don't believe that. I wouldn't just put that out to the public right now.
Thanks, Bobby. Cool. Yeah, I think so. You know, my take on sort of your approach is really just that. You know, I suppose, yeah, there are. I mean, you've got the hat on that says no more labels, right? So, I think that's cool. Look, I sort of, so the way I identify is as somebody that has ADHD, right, or as somebody that has had a history with substance use and alcohol and things like that, right? But I think I agree with you in a lot of ways in that, you know, referring to myself as an alcoholic or as an addict, you know, I don't particularly like that. I haven't got a fully formed concept of what the alternative to that is. But I like to refer to myself as somebody that's on a journey of self-discovery. And you know, I do have other issues, but I'm not, you know, my entire being isn't defined by those, you know, diagnoses or whatever you want to call them. So, although labels can be helpful at times, you know, again, it's not my entire person. It's not my entire being. I don't need to sort of just be an addict. You know, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I've got a lot of other things going on for me. So that is in a lot of ways contrary to 12-step philosophy, which we're doing some deprogramming from tonight, right?
Yes, in a sense, yes.
To an extent,
You know,
okay.
we're going beyond the 12-step paradigm, which is an old, antiquated, 87-year-old doctrine. And yes, we're going beyond that. And that's not to say that people aren't including that into their, let's use the word recovery. I mean, into their recovery today. So I'm sure that they can incorporate a bunch of different things. And that's what I like to see. I like to see alternatives and people be going beyond even meetings or treatment or recovery. When I say going beyond recovery, I mean addiction recovery. I mean alcohol and drug addiction recovery, and going into recovery in a sense, discovery. So that's what this whole channel is about. It's about self-discovery. So going further, raising our consciousness and going into different types of recovery. Let's say recovery from things that we thought were rational beliefs or things that we believed were true. Well, Megan, let's hear from Megan about this new thing that we're doing that she's a part of.
Thanks, Bobby. So yeah, I mean, I'm here on this video to learn, because as I've said before, you know, I do believe that we are individuals and that the world is made up of billions of individuals, and you know, I don't believe that one size fits all. So I like to educate and empower myself with different ideas and different perspectives and different methods and whatever, so that you know, so that I can help people. And so that, you know, I'm familiar with their journey and their different perspectives when they come to me, and for counseling and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm here to hear your ideas and to learn from you and to ask questions when I would like to get understanding on some of the things you say. So I hope you don't mind if I ask questions when I want to gain
No,
understanding, Bobby
please.
and Ryan.
Yeah. So I want to
Please.
just say something, if that's okay, Bobby. So there's some stuff around, around the 12 steps that I don't like and that I feel can be harmful. And there's especially when people are sort of, it seems to me, indoctrinated into some version of some kind of religious conversion, which is what it looks like a lot of people experience at treatment centers. And for some people it sticks and it works, but I often at to what degree is that process and the aftermath of that harmful? Okay. And there's a couple of things that I've just noticed in meetings through my years in fellowships, is that things like I think I've told you guys that I had this one experience with this guy. He came to a meeting and he pulled out this poem that he'd written to his kids, and he thought he'd read it to the group, and he read it to the group, and it was really a sort of heartwarming poem that he had written. The guy had a lot more balls than I do. I would never have done that, but it was heartwarming nonetheless. And after he'd read it, somebody popped up, an old timer in the meeting popped up and said, "Sorry, man, that's not AA approved. It's not 12-step approved literature or AA or NA approved literature. So everybody in the meeting needs to disregard what he's just read, please." And then he instructed that guy not to do it again. And I was like very much taken aback by that. And I thought, like, did he really have to do that? Like, it occurred to me, and I've been thinking a lot about that and sort of what happens in somebody's mind to sort of be that, what's the word? It was just an ugly thing to have done. But he obviously did it in service of his ideology, and in service of his beliefs, which he derives from. Actually, God knows where he derives it from, because I don't know where it says that in any of the literature. So that's something that I experienced amongst the, that's one of many things that I've experienced in 12-step meetings that I think are dangerous. So I thought I'd just give that as an example. What do you think, Bobby?
Yeah, that's one of examples of, for me, thousands and thousands, because I have so much information. Because I study it, I still study it today, and I study each, chapter and deprogram each chapter. And sometimes I show the good thing about the chapter, which was taken, it wasn't from Alcoholics Anonymous, it was just borrowed. A lot of stuff has been borrowed from philosophy, from psychology, from doctors, and from ancient wisdom, and a lot of it has been, indoctrinated through the Oxford group, which is Christian, the religion part of it. Bill W.'s sponsor was a Jesuit priest, Father Dowling, and he influenced the 12 steps because a Catholic Jesuit priest were recruiters for the Catholic Church. And that's just common knowledge. And he was Bill's sponsor for about 20 years. So, the influence that he had on him. But Marty Mann, like, if you look back in history, well, let's just talk about I just did a podcast on deprogramming chapter 10 in the big book to employers. Now, and I asked the viewers, I said, would you actually give this book, because it's still being printed up, would you give this book to an employer? It's an 87-year-old antiquated message that does not talk anything about mental health, just about this chapter. It says in the first 3 paragraphs, it's talking about 3 suicide attempts. Okay. And this is one business member that is promoting this, 80 something years ago. And back in 1939, when this book was written, so he was a member, and he's promoting the word alcoholism. Just in 14 pages, he's using the word alcoholism and alcoholic, 45 times. And that's just in this one chapter. I would imagine I'm going to be counting all the times that they use the word alcoholic and alcoholism in all these chapters, because the book is really only made up of 164 pages. Okay. So their cure is in 164 pages of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. The rest of the book is made up of stories. And so he talks about Mr. B calling him up, and it wasn't really Mr. B, it was Mr. B's brother. And he said that, what?
Bobby, can I interrupt? Sorry, interrupt. So I just did a search. The word alcoholism appears 139 times in the book.
139 times?
Yeah, alcoholism, and then you wanted alcoholic.
Okay, so that's good. I would have to do my own research, and I would think that it would be more, because the word alcoholic, alcoholism is kind of, maybe a different word, but used.
So the word alcoholic appears 934 times.
Oh, okay, there we go. Okay,
yeah.
That's in 164 pages. Okay,
so
yeah, because the big book is 164 pages. That's the cure, because in the beginning, alcoholism, they came up with a cure. They had to create the disease concept and then create the cure. So he talks about, I just wanted to tell you that Paul jumped from a hotel window in Hartford last Saturday. He left us a note saying that you were the best boss ever. No mention of mental health, no mention of suicide prevention, no mention of anything but alcoholic. Okay. Then the next paragraph, after 2 weeks of drinking, he had placed his toe on the trigger of a loaded shotgun. The barrel was in his mouth. Another suicide. This is the second paragraph. And here's another suicide. Third paragraph, still another experience. A woman's voice came faintly over long distance from Virginia. 4 days before he had hung himself in his woodshed, I had been obliged to discharge him for drinking, though he was brilliant, alert, and one of the best organizers I have ever known. He was three exceptional men lost to the world because I do not understand alcoholism. Okay, so they're attributing suicide with alcohol use. Okay, that in itself is very troubling right there, and I believe it's very harmful. So I would ask the viewers, after they read this chapter, would you give this book to an employer in today's society? And the answer for me would be definitely not. There's so much more information, and this book is still being printed and still being distributed, promoted to society, throughout society.
So there's you made a good point, Bobby, because there's a couple of other things that it does as well in that chapter. Is that at one point it is if you're dealing with alcoholics, sometimes one of the biggest gifts you can give them is firing them. Okay, firing them isn't the exact word, but the word that they use, they I can't find the word, but it was
get rid of them. It says actually get rid of them. It says discharge them, them, get rid of them, fire them.
So yeah, you're right. The first couple of pages are about suicides, about people who have lost their jobs because of their alcoholism, and then it goes on to say sort of like, one of the greatest gifts you can give an alcoholic is to discharge them. And I thought that was a little bit absurd as well.
Yeah, I mean, diagnosing somebody with alcoholic, that's why they killed themselves, is a misdiagnosis. You know, it's very damaging and dangerous.
Look, people have rough lives, and if you've got a problem with alcohol and you're struggling and your life's a mess because of it, you know, I think those thoughts can come to a person and it can be overwhelming. But you know, if you go back in the book, it talks about morbid reflection, and I've heard people in the community in the 12-step community say, you know, I've spoken about my own depression, and they've said, oh well, that's just morbid reflection. It's like, okay, where's the line between morbid reflection and clinical depression? Or you know, like at what point is this morbid reflection gonna turn into a mental illness? You know what I mean? It's like they almost minimize it.
They don't talk about it. They don't even minimize it. They just discount it completely. Here's another thing: is that what they're doing with this book, what they're passing this on to an employer and making the employer, if you have to read the chapter, but I could show you where it says it. They're making the employer responsible for the employee. Okay, but this is back then, so they're giving this book to some. This is when treatment, they didn't even have treatment, and they didn't even have payment for the treatment. They wanted the employer to pay for the treatment, go to their doctor, consider them a patient, consider the employee a patient of the employer. It says it right in the book, and have the employee be responsible, employer be responsible for the employee, and in such ways where it actually states that they pay for the treatment and then charge back the employee, charge back the money that the employers paid back to the employee. Okay, and then it goes even further where they become responsible for where a employer, first of all, they want the employer to pass on the employees to Alcoholics Anonymous. Okay, so they want them to pass that on, but in the meantime, they want them to read this book. They want to show the employers about this book, present this book to them, pay for their treatment, bring them to the doctor, and have them pay back. And if they don't really conform, fire them, discharge them, and get rid of them. I think Megan, you and Megan did a little podcast that you were having a little problems when you mentioned employees assistance programs. Today, it's all together a different ball game. Today, sure. This thing is so antiquated that how someone can pass this information on to an employer, or first of all, they passed it on to us, so make us recruit others. Then they passed it on to my wife so she can recruit others. Then they passed it on to the family afterwards so the family can recruit others. Then they passed it on to the employers so they can recruit others. Okay, it's nothing but a indoctrination, propaganda, antiquated doctrine that is outdated.
Yeah. So Bobby, I'm gonna if you give me a minute, I'm gonna switch over to the My Rehab Cafe. If there's anybody out there on the public channels that wants to participate, you can still hop on via the links that I've posted. If anybody doesn't agree with what either myself or Bobby or Megan has said, please, it would be really, I think it would be awesome to engage with you in a debate or in a conversation around this, and we can take a look at it and pick it apart and come to a conclusion. I think it would be really cool. But so everybody on the public channels who has been watching, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to switch over quickly. Again, the links in the comments if you want to hop on. So guys, give me a minute. I'll switch over quick.